Should we review then? I think we should. I think it's time.
We should. I mean, the review's going to be... Okay, let's go. Let's review this.
It's reviewed midweek, so it's going to be terrible. It's fine, because everyone knows this album anyway, so it's just... They're just putting it on as a nice thing to remember. Or to get very, very angry with us. I don't know. It's not to be taken seriously. There is the wrong cover. Well, it isn't the wrong cover. It is the right cover. There was another...
Does the right cover have boobies on it?
Yes, the Lady Boobies one. Or the Booby Ladies. It's Booby Ladies, I think. Weren't his idea, actually. It was... The record company did that, and he said he didn't mind that one. He didn't like Axis, because it was cultural appropriation. He didn't call it that, but that's what he meant. So I don't know if that was his suggestion, or... I think that was just the inside cover. So obviously earlier I actually, as you do, had a look. It's not there. The Booby Ladies aren't there. Never mind. Yeah, I assume that's illegal and stuff. It was an innocent time. So yeah, this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is the one. That's the one. Certainly not the first one. You know, Axis is the fan one. I know that. It's the purest. It's sort of perfect, but no. I mean, come on. This is awesome. This is the next level. When he did his thing, much more soulful. Almost. There's like. I mean, you can almost call it. Is it gospel? I don't know. Maybe, but he's singing falsetto. His voice is great, and he's harmonising with himself. But there's only two voices. It sounds awesome. It's possible he's more comfortable with his voice, and also, but the production is much better. You know, and he was a big artist by now, not ridiculous like after he died, but he was a big artist by now. So had more control. Well, not complete control, it turns out, obviously because of the cover, but he was calling the shots, even over members of the band. In fact, it turns out, and in fact, you could argue they're not a band by this point. You know, they're his musicians playing on his album. This is the first Hendrix solo album, maybe, despite the one song, obviously. And it's just awesome. You've got, you know, the soulful intro song, I'm Gonna Take You on a Journey type song. You've got the classic single, perfect Hendrix single, Crosstown Traffic. You've got the awesome jam. You've got some other songs, but what's kind of strange, you know, for a double, the second side is always not as good or experimental. I think the second side is way better. Although it turns out, I thought it started with Burning of the Midnight Lamp, which it didn't. Burning of the Midnight Lamp is actually the end of the second side, but I think the second half is better. And you've got the Rainy Day jams and 1983 bit, and that's, you know, that is so awesome. And obviously, I mean, it ends with the epic finale duo, best version of All on the Watchtower, goes without saying. And Voodoo Chile, Slight Return. So I mean, it really is good, and it's so familiar. Some of those songs are in the ether. They're just there. It's like Bohemian Rhapsody or something. But that's because they're that good. You know, his version of All on the Watchtower. It is that good. It's one of those. It's that good. And Voodoo Child, obviously, Slight Return is the one every guitarist learns and plays when they're a teenager and now is slightly embarrassed about how they played it. And we should never speak of that.
So I'm guessing you're saying, Kev, what you're saying is it's awesome. It's pretty awesome.
It's awesome.
It's like one awesome song after another awesome song. Yeah, I tell you what I noticed. So I think last week I might have said, actually, the way to listen to Jimi Hendrix is his Best of Collections album, or something like that. That's wrong.
With this album, yeah. With this album, that is wrong. Yeah, wrong.
That is wrong. It was like the first time I actually listened. So this is the first time to me I actually feel like I'm listening to an album rather than a collection of songs put together on an album, and it is awesome. There's no way around it. There's how to explain. There's a sort of virtuosity about it, which Hendrix is well known for, without the I don't know why, for some reason, when Hendrix does it, there isn't that perception of self-indulgence, which you get linking it back to our channel with some prog bands.
Yeah, there's like a flamboyance and a freedom to it. You know, I can do this.
Yeah, whereas this is Hendrix, you know, this is his personality in music form. He's not. I don't think he's reaching for something special. He's just doing something special because that's who he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's fantastic. It's rock music. You know,
Yeah.
we're back at what suddenly we remember why we like rock music, yeah? Because you put this on and it's sort of whoa, and you know that the blues, I mean he does proper blues, you know, it's sort of like electric, almost like an electric. It's almost like a genre in itself. Like the extended song, is it Voodoo Chile? I was listening to that. I was just like, this is. Mate, I remember listening to the blues and actually really liking it.
Yeah.
And I liked it again. I was like, wow, why haven't I listened to this sort of stuff in a long time?
And he can do the soulful and he can do the R&B stuff, and that never dilutes the playing the blues stuff.
And the psychedelia stuff he does is good. It's interesting. It's not
just
it's not ornamentation, you know. It's actually that's pretty cool, you know. So yeah, it is awesome and it is cool, and I really liked it. You know, 2 albums of rock music is something that would normally, you know, I could get a little bit tired of towards the end. But actually, no, not this. This was good. The last great doubler we did that got me straight away was. Can you remember what it was? A long time ago.
When was the last time we did a double? Well, we did a lot of 90s albums that aren't doubles, they're just very long.
Well, we did The Lamb, obviously,
yeah.
And that didn't get me the first time.
No,
it took me a long time to get into that. Actually, the last one that got me this strongly straight away was probably Physical Graffiti.
Oh, right,
it's one of the first reviews we ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like years and years and years ago, and it's sort of like it's that sort of thing all over again.
It is a bit like Physical Graffiti, isn't it? Yeah, but it doesn't have the sort of outtakey side 4.
Yeah,
it's like it carries on, getting better. Oh my god.
So yeah, it's an album that's given me a new appreciation of Hendrix. I thought Hendrix was just like
the first album.
Well, I thought it was a guitarist. I thought he was a guitarist, sort of wet dream, basically.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
If you're into the guitar, then you love Hendrix, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, he is. I mean, you listen to any interview by Joe Satriani, at all. Not interviews about Jimi Hendrix, just interviews with Joe Satriani, and he just talks about Hendrix.
Yeah.
All the time. That's all he ever talks.
But I mean, you hear all these. You hear a lot of guitarists going on about Clapton, and obviously he is very an admired guitar player. But it's something that's just straight over my head, passes me by. Whereas this doesn't.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but very different. It's interesting that Clapton was kind of trying to play a bit like that at this point, which wasn't very Clapton-like. So a lot of the Cream stuff, where they're trying to, when he had his big hair, trying to be Jimi Hendrix. But yeah, well, the Clapton thing, he's incredibly conservative, isn't he? That's the problem. It's his conservatism through the years was his thing. That he wanted to stop doing that Cream thing because it was too interesting. He just wanted to play some songs and some blang blang blang, some hammer-ons, and then stop and then leave the stage and have some alcohol.
I know. I'll work with Roger Waters. That'll work.
Yeah, but obviously, I mean, it's that thing, isn't it, where he was a fantastic musician, and here that's the point, because he obviously died when he was 27. So that was the only point we saw, really, where he actually had the time and everything to get it right, and he did his album, and this is what I do, this is mine, this is my statement. That's really the only one where he got to do that. You know, you could say Machine Gun as well, but not really the whole album. And Band of Gypsies was a contractual thing and all that as well. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it stands the test of time. And it's that thing of what would he have done next, and it is very difficult to figure that out because all the things he influenced don't look like the direction like he was going in at the time. He seemed to be going more R&B and a bit less jamming, but apparently that fifth album was going to be, he got the track list ready and all the songs were there, and they were like 3 sides, and there was a 4th side that was never talked about, so maybe that was going to be something. We should talk about 1983, the song, not the year. Don't search YouTube for 1983, you'll get Owner of a Lonely Heart. Genuinely, if you scroll down, it's there, with the really bad video to it as well. That's his epic, actually. It's about 13 minutes, I think. That's it's almost on a par with Machine Gun. I don't think it is in terms of performance. In terms of composition, I think it is. Very, very special. And well, I've written here, actually quite proggy. It is quite proggy. That's the most proggy he got, actually, you could argue, depending on what you mean. Certainly the structured thing, it's fantastic. And of course still got the Hendrixiness, the swagger and the bluesiness and the R&B-ness in there as well. I really like the Rainy Day thing as well, which turns out actually opens sides 3 and 4. I didn't know that. Years ago it felt like there was like a little sweep with Rainy Day either side of it, with the mermaid thing in the middle. But they're great, and we get a bit of saxophone on a Hendrix album. In case you're getting bored of the guitar sounds, there's a bit of saxophone. So yeah, we can talk about the stories, what he was going to do, what he nearly did, and no one agrees what he was going to do. But that fifth album was predictably, it was spread over several releases, like 3 albums or something. Sadly, it wasn't finished. There is some fantastic stuff on there, but it wasn't finished.
This was his most commercially successful album, wasn't it?
Yes, it must have been.
It reached number 1 in the US, I think, which is a big thing. Do you think sort of like Hendrix, the psychedelic experimentation he had in there, do you think that sort of helped lay the groundwork for progressive rock? Because he actually made money and there was experimentation. It wasn't just,
Yeah, hugely. It's one of those things where almost as much as the Beatles, but coming from a different direction. So the guitar-y people, rather than the keyboardy people, would be listening to Hendrix. And at the time, you would have had the progressive charts, or maybe like a year or 2 later, and it would have had John Lennon in the progressive charts as well, and Hendrix, and Yes, and ELP and whatever as well. Speaking of ELP, of course, the story goes that they were going to form a band. The ELP formed, but Hendrix was going to join them as well. It's going to be a band, which isn't true. They met. I think they just met at the Isle of Wight Festival, which was not his last gig, but the last filmed gig or whatever it was. I think they just sort of said, "Oh yeah, we should play together sometime." That was good. I like the Cannons. That's probably what it was. But of course, they would have been called Help, which is what the audience would be saying. With Keith Emerson and Hendrix at the same time. Imagine.
God, could you imagine?
Having actually reviewed his albums, I get more of the Keith Emerson is like Hendrix thing. I do get more of that in the playing. I do hear the it's loud. And it's I think that's it. Miles Davis was at the Isle of Wight Festival as well. I did search around to see if they met or anything. I think they met, but they didn't play together or anything like that. Miles Davis was just a Hendrix fan. He just thought he was great. And Miles did do a couple of Hendrix covers. I don't think there was an album when he was alive, but I think there was an album put together when Miles met Jimmy or something like that. Some of it is excellent, some of it is awful. There's all on the Watchtower 80s version. This is when he's doing his 80s thing and he's using synths and stuff. and it's pretty horrible. Sorry, but there's Little Wing and things like that, which is awesome as a jazzy thing. You know,
I think I've read probably on Wikipedia that Hendrix was influenced by Zappa a little bit on the wah-wah pedal.
yes, yeah.
So is there a link from Zappa to Hendrix to Joe Satriani to Kirk Hammett?
Oh no! What happened?
It's kill Kev.
The rock music sucks now. The 90s ruined it. Never mind. But yeah, it's not completely clear when Jeff. I think it's whether Jeff Beck had a wah. We know Jeff Beck had a wah, and we know Zappa had a wah before Jimmy. We know that, but I don't think it's clear. I think that it's not quite clear which. And I'm sure in the comments people will tell us which it is, and they know the actual one, the actual truth.
Well, you'd probably say if Hendrix was listening to Zappa and he got it from them, you would say, you know, Zappa's the core. I know Jeff Beck's like your hero and all that, but I mean, probably Zappa influenced that a lot simply because he influenced Hendrix, and Hendrix has influenced everyone.
Yes. Zappa's his own thing as well, obviously, though. I mean, obviously, Jeff Beck is just a guitar player. And Hendrix was a fan of Jeff Beck. They are nothing alike at all in the playing. There is nothing there that's similar, other than they were experimental with equipment and feedback and stuff. The actual playing is completely unrelated. Totally.
Maybe they should have formed a band.
Yeah. Yeah. Beck Hendrix.
Yeah.
It is 5 eggs for me because it doesn't do the thing for me personally. It would be 6 eggs for a lot of people. That's definitely, you know.
Yeah, I agree. 5 eggs. I think I gave Physical Graffiti 6, didn't I? But I'm an older, wiser person now.
We didn't egg them. We didn't write albums because it's a waste of time.
Oh. Yeah, it is a waste of time. Okay.
We'll give them eggs.
The way I was talking about Physical Graffiti, I'm sure I would have given it 6 eggs. But I agree. 5 eggs. It's a very, very, very good album.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like Dark Side of the Moon and etc. etc. You have to have this one. Even though those last 2 tracks are so embedded in our souls, in the ether, we know the sound of them. It really stands up better than the first album, which you already know before you've heard it. That's those songs, you know, which are great. But this is awesomeness.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's good.
Yeah,
what
so
are we doing next?
We had, I think there's 2 requests on Patreon, isn't there? So we need to look at that.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. So we've got some Patreon requests coming up next.
Yeah.
Right.
Patreon from our Patreon, where our Genesis and Pink Floyd reviews are.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/Wenton King.
Yeah. Right then.
Yeah.
Should we do the thumbs up?
Yeah. Cheers. See you next. Stay safe and things.
Yeah, stay safe.
Yeah.
And follow the rules.
Follow the rules, citizen.
Yeah.